Hey everyone, my name is Dave Pluff. I want to welcome you to our class. This is Art 101. It's an Introduction to Art class here at Cal State Fullerton. Our class is asynchronous in format, which means that we don't have any in-person class meetings. We don't have any Zoom sessions you need to log on to. It's basically a work at your own pace class with specific deadlines that you have to hit throughout the semester as far as the material goes. It is a very cool class, especially if you've never dealt with the topic of art. And we're going to learn everything from the formal elements and principles of design to the mediums that artists use to create art. We'll also delve into specific topics such as modern art, art theft, and even look at some individual artists in more depth, such as the life of Vincent van Gogh. So it's a really cool class. I hope you enjoy it. And every other week, you're going to have a video like this that explains two of the modules. So this video today is going to be covering modules 1 and 2. Modules always open in pairs. They're kind of interlinked as far as their project and materials go. And so the next video you'll have is going to be 3 and 4, and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you over to the Canvas site. I'm going to cover modules 1, 2, and also the administrative materials module, which is where you'll find important documents such as the lecture schedule, class syllabus, late policy, things like that. So let's head over to the Canvas site and I'll walk you through what you need to know for this week. All right, when you first land on the Canvas site, you're going to be landing on the dashboard and you're going to choose the class that you are involved with. You're either going to be in Section 8 or Section 9. Those are my online classes. I'm going to use Section 8 as my example for these videos. And you're going to land on the home page, or sometimes it's called the syllabus page. Now, I do this for a couple of reasons. Number one, it has this really cool banner that kind of tells you a little bit about the course. But when you also look above the banner, you're going to have my last 2 emails that I send out. Underneath that, it has all the projects laid out, what we're going to be completing over the course of the semester. This is just one of the places that you can find these projects. It tells you the due date, and of course on the right hand side, the due time. All my projects are due by 3 o'clock on Sundays. Click on the Modules tab, and the Modules tab will take you to all the modules. Up top, you have the Administrative Materials module. Spend some time to go through this. This is what you need to do first, is to go through the course syllabus, lecture schedule, and late policy. You want to read those 3 documents very thoroughly. A link to the textbook information, a little blurb on netiquette, a list of the GE learning goals, which are mostly for me, so you don't really have to look through those, but they are there for reference. Some information about me. I will also tell you that on this page in particular is another place where you can find my email address, the link to the office hours, and a link to my YouTube site. Underneath that, a list of campus services, the emergency procedures notice, and then also the last presidential directive for the COVID-19. So that is all the admin material. You also have access right now, down at the bottom, to modules 1 and 2. I always put the more recent modules on top, so in a couple weeks, modules 3 and 4 will open. We'll start with module 1. This is what you must complete for this week. You'll just open up the module and you'll see that all the modules are also kind of structured in the very same way. We have the welcome to the module, a list of lectures, assessments, and journal. When you go to module 2, you'll have the same exact thing, a welcome, lectures, assessment, and journal. We'll come back to module 2 in just a moment. Up top, we've got the video you're watching right now. Underneath that, we always have a module introduction. This one does have a welcome because it does kind of give you some definitions for the main categories. The summary, which is what I plan to do during the week. The lectures, objectives, and finally the assessments that are due. We have a discussion board due this week, and every week we also have a journal entry but journals are not submitted until the final week of the semester. After that, we have a link to my office hours. Office hours are every Monday and Wednesday from 4:30 to 7 p.m. When you log on, please let me know that you're in my online class here at Cal State Fullerton. After that, we've got our first lecture. This week, because we're going to have people adding and dropping and such, I do have a fairly light week, so we just have one lecture. The lecture is on the roles of the artist. You just click onto the page and there's the YouTube video there. It's approximately 45 minutes in length. Each lecture is accompanied by a study guide. The study guide is normally a list of vocabulary. It's also a list of imagery. And I know when I first took an Art 101 class, I was like a little overwhelmed at how many images were in the lectures, and I didn't know which were more important than others. So I've kind of highlighted a handful of them here for you. They usually have corresponding elements in the vocabulary. But for the roles of the artist lecture, it is a topical lecture. So we're going to learn the 4 roles of the artist, and you'll also notice there's 4 images. So the very first image here on the gates by Christo and his wife Jean-Claude, it references the very first role of the artist. I also have down here at the bottom information, kind of directions on how to use the study guides. They're never collected or anything like that. It talks about the vocabulary, the images, and of course a disclaimer, because sometimes I will put an image not seen on the study guide on one of the bi-weekly quizzes. After that, we have a further exploration section. You're going to have a very short assortment of readings. The readings are very, very quick, half a page to a full page, just giving you a little bit more guidance as far as the material we're covering. So what is art appreciation? How would we define an artist? The purpose of art, and so on. We also have some videos here that I cannot embed into the lecture because of copyright, but there's about 15 minutes total worth of videos here. The spiral jetty, just a few seconds long, just kind of a spoof on the spiral jetty down below, which we'll learn about in the lecture. And then finally, Christo's last work, which is the floating piers. That concludes the lectures for this week, but we do have a discussion board to complete. So for the discussion, please take some time to introduce yourself. Tell us where from California or the world you're from. Tell us about your major. And then also I would like, as far as number 3 goes, post an image of your favorite artist's work. For topic 4, you also want to respond to another student's post. You do not have to do that this week. There is a reminder in Module 2 to do that, and that is not due until the 8th of September, while the post is due on the 1st. And you're also not going to be able to see what others have posted until you create your own post. How do you upload an image? I've got a list of things here, and grading: 16 points for your post, 4 points for a response to another student, and again the due date's down here. Uploading an image is very easy. You just click the reply button, type into the text box down below. When you want to upload an image, it is this icon here. You'll click that, you'll click upload an image, and just drag and drop. Once you press submit, it'll highlight here in the text box, and then you can make the image smaller or larger, whatever you would like, and click reply, and then that makes your post. So it's very, very easy. We'll head back to the module here, and we'll take a look at the journals. You will do one journal every single week. And the journals may range in a variety of topics. We may be doing a reflection from a reading, more focused research on a topic, completing a worksheet in the case of any films we might watch together. a short writing exercise, or even completing an art activity are all possibilities for journals. And a little bit more information I'll let you read through on your own as far as how they're submitted at the end of the semester. But the very first journal entry is actually going to be dealing with iconography. Iconography is something we're actually going to be covering in Module 2, so you can probably wait on this until that lecture in Module 2. You're more than welcome to jump ahead and start going through that if you would like, but it is not required this particular week. And again, these journals, they are not due until the end of the semester. Anytime you're going to be doing writing, normally I ask for a half a page to full page text. This is college writing, so it should be double spaced, and you're more than welcome to use the 12-point font. That is the end for module number 1. I am going to talk about module 2 here as well. For module 2, you can see it's set up pretty much the exact same way module 1 was. However, we do have one extra lecture this week, and normally we tend to have 2 lectures per week. Up top, the video you're watching right now, the module 2 introduction. We have our summary, our list of lectures, our objectives, and objectives are very important because that's generally what I'm looking on to test you on the modules quiz. This week we do have a modules quiz. It covers both modules 1 and 2, and then we also have another journal entry. What you'll see in the modules is that we will alternate the odd number modules 1, 3, 5, 7 will have a discussion board. The even modules 2, 4, 6, 8 are going to have a modules quiz. My office hours here, if for any reason there is a change in office hours, I will put a note right underneath here what the office hours will change to. For the lectures this week, we have the language of art, its study guide, and also the further exploration section. For this lecture, it's very, very easy. It's just one video to watch on the famous Arnolfini portrait. Once you're done with the language of art lecture, you can easily do journal entry number 1. For space and the illusion of space, once you complete this, you'll be able to do journal entry number 2. And once you've completed the roles of the artist lecture, the language of art, the illusion of space, and read through the administrative material, you'll be able to complete the modules quiz. So for the space and the illusion of space, we've got the lecture, its study guide, and then the further exploration section. The only reading we have is optional. It's actually a book on perspective that's made available to you. It's from like the 1950s, but there isn't a better book on perspective. So if this is something that you really like from learning about it in the chapter, you're more than welcome to download this text. Some videos such as the Watchtower, which deals with positive and negative space. This Sesame Street blurb here deals with scale. Objects closer to us appear larger than those farther away. For 1-point perspective, this is another way that perspective works, another way of instruction. So definitely watch this. This is about a 10-11 minute video. And Ross King's video here deals with more of the history of perspective, which is really interesting. After that, we're going to do the modules quiz. The modules quiz basically has 20 questions. You have 20 minutes in which to answer these questions. When you log in and just press the start button on your side of Canvas, you'll see that the modules quiz covers the administrative material, module 1, module 2, 20 minutes to complete the exam, 20 multiple choice questions, and then it is open book and open notes. You do need to make sure you've watched the lectures and everything like that prior to beginning. The timer is right up here on the upper right hand side. Also, you can jump to the different questions if you want as well. You'll just click on what you think is the correct answer. You'll click the next button, and you'll also notice that once you answer a question, there's a check mark next to the question as well. If you accidentally click the Submit Quiz button, it will let you know you have 19 unanswered questions. So you don't have to worry about accidentally clicking that button. Just press Cancel. It brings you right back to the quiz. The final thing this week is journal entry number 2. And again, this is module 2. You do not have to complete it until September 2nd through the 8th, but you do have it accessible to you if you would like to work ahead. So journal entry number 2 deals with drawing in linear perspective. And I've got all the information up above here. You get a choice of creating something very basic, which is what I suggest doing, taking two-dimensional shapes such as squares, rectangles, trapezoids, triangles, and making them three-dimensional through this mathematical formula of perspective. I have all the steps written down here for you. If you're more of a kinesthetic learner, I have a video that shows how to create at least one of these shapes. You do want to have 7 three-dimensional objects at the end of your drawing. Some of you have already completed perspective, and you want to do maybe a high-tech interior room. That's cool. Just again, make sure you have 7 objects that show three-dimensional space. And I can tell you this was done by one of my engineering students, and he was like, don't waste my time on perspective. I know all about it. And he did this incredible scene here. Again, I'm just looking for you to show me that you have mastered perspective. I do ask that you submit 2 drawings for this journal entry. The first one is your drawing in progress. It does not have to be this particular point of progress, but I want to see how you've created the shapes. And then once you have the drawing completed, take a picture of that as well. Some final words down below. Basically, don't rush through. It's all about neatness and mathematical formulas. Do not cheat and go to linear perspective on Google Images and copy something. This is something that you need to be proficient in for this class. And that, my friends, is everything for module number 2. I will be back shortly to tell you about modules 3 and 4.